Welcome to the latest episode of Glorious Proceedings. This is technically episode 15 of season 1, which was recorded on February 23rd of 2025. Some information may be outdated as time has passed, but don't worry, episode 16 and the beginning of season 2 of Glorious Proceedings will air right after this. Thank you so much for tuning in and enjoy.
All right. We got the triple threat recording here.
Almost blew it.
Oh! Almost blew it with a blue light. You see, he's a funny man. Funny man. LA5.
KG3.
Here we are again.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, podcast number 15.
Ooh, 555.
Yes. You know what I like about this?
What?
I had 15 episodes in my original run of Cloud Van.
Hmm.
So we're about to take a break because you have some exciting news I'm sure you might share. Of some travels coming up for you. So I don't know when we'll do a podcast next. So you could consider this the year 1, season 1 of the Glorious Proceedings podcast.
Right.
Yeah.
Season finale.
Yeah. We actually are coming up to a full year.
My goodness.
It's pretty exciting.
That's true.
We stuck with it for a full year.
Wow.
Our original idea was to do one a week. We never ended up getting that, but you know, life takes us places, and I don't know if I would have had enough to share each week. I'm sure we would have found something, but here we are.
If I'm going to be honest, I thought maybe we'd get like 5. And usually things like this just kind of lose momentum and it just stops, but instead it kept on getting better.
It did. Look at us now.
I know.
Well, on this one, we have 2 cinema cameras and a phone that is recording in cinema mode.
Bro, I feel lit.
Ain't no blue feeling here, except for a backlight. Oh, so tell me, my friend, fill me in a little bit when it comes to your thoughts of how the year 2025 has started thus far. Here we are, almost at the end of February. How do you feel 2 months in?
Okay. 25. 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. 5 squared.
Ooh, there it is.
Number of grace. Grace and change is what I understand the number of 5 to be, hence the LA5. I've always loved change. I've always been a huge advocate for grace. And I believe that this is pretty much coming into a convergence and a setup, if you will, where for the last, I've always said 15 months, so I'm going to have to stick with this. I haven't counted them, but about 15 months ago, my hopes and dreams that I've always held in my heart for almost 2 decades, but then just surrendered 3 years ago completely without saying, okay, I don't need to experience these things anymore. The desire is still there, but I'm going to surrender them. Because if Jesus has something different for me, if the Father has actually choreographed a different sequence of events that's actually greater that I'm thinking of, then that's what's more important. So I no longer said, this is what my future has to be. It's completely surrendered, while acknowledging that the desires for certain things are still there, but not allowing those to dictate what I see in my future as to what I need to experience. It became a day-to-day kind of a thing. I was seeking the kingdom each day, and I was doing that by basically seeking him each day. And I was doing that by simply conducting myself in a certain attitude, one that was always bringing peace, one that was always filled with hope, unconditional hope. No matter what may come, I know it's being used to my good. And one that's rooted in love, where I feel loved no matter what. I know that my future is incredible because of who loves me and who's calling the shots. And from there, it doesn't really matter what takes place. It's about my conduct. It's about my state. So if I can be grateful for what I have in my day, and I can be loving to those that I'm interacting with consistently, while surrendering what my future needs to look like, I'm just trusting God with the outcome. That is how I was seeking the kingdom. And guess what? Just like Matthew 33 documents Jesus as saying, everything else that I needed in my life, provision, was automatically given to me in abundance. I was living in a land of endless cappuccinos.
Ooh, sounds delicious.
It was. Still is. But point is, not only was my provision being met, but according to King David in Psalm 37, if you find your delight in Jesus, just doing life the way that he says to do it, with his spirit living inside of us, while surrendering and trusting him for our future, what we desire the most will be given to us. I experienced that as well, where each month something new would come into my life. Started with my pilot license, and then it came into living at different chalets, and then it went to amazing vacations, and then that went into getting set up for my future land at home, and then that went to my dream relationship with my gal. That none of these things I was trying to seek out, they just automatically got installed into my life, as if I couldn't even avoid them if I wanted to. They would just find a way to get into momentum. So now it's come to this point where I feel like they've all been pretty much satisfied to a degree. Now I don't even know what's left. Now there's probably just higher levels of each one of them. But the main point that I've taken away from all of this is that my future's already secured. The dreams and the hopes and my best life is already authored. And the key that activates all of those things into getting experienced is trusting him along the way, because then that gets me out of my own way. The only thing that can stop me from actually experiencing everything that our Father wants me to experience, which is always good and perfect gifts, it's on the way. And there is a path, there's a sequence that takes me into each one of them. But the only thing that can stop me is myself. By thinking I need something else, by thinking this has to happen in a different timing, by thinking that I need to experience this particular thing and it's all about me, me, me. Basically, the selfish desires that we have can be the one thing that causes us to go off track.
The battle of patience.
But that's where grace comes in. He knows where we're going to mess up.
Oh, of course.
So we don't need to be perfect. All we need to do is trust him along the way, and then he knows how to guide us. Just like Jesus said, my sheep know my voice, and they will follow me. It's absolute language. So now we're at the convergence point. The foundation has been built, and that foundation feels like a launch pad for a rocket ship. And we're about to blast off where no man has gone before, in terms of this man.
Indeed.
And honestly, I actually see a very similar pattern in your particular setup as well, where I feel like your next iteration is going to be something that is an amplified version of your hopes and dreams, realized to a higher level and a degree not yet experienced, but always hoped for. And I may not know what that looks like, but one thing I do feel very strongly about is that it's going to be truly glorious.
Yes, the next iteration is it's felt, and I know it hasn't fully arrived. It is, but every step that is being taken right now in my own personal relationships, and also with my personal projects and where I want it to be taken, every day that I put towards, like for personal relationships, every day I put towards bettering my relationship, getting closer with the woman I love, it really does seem to be growing stronger and stronger. And one of the methods I have found that's helped me the most is, one, taking care of myself. And when I say that, I fully haven't started to even do that yet, but I'm seeing where I need to, where I need to be better and do better for myself. And by doing that, it will translate and transition into a better relationship with the woman I love, and also my friends and family and just everybody. And more importantly, with myself and with God. You know, you take care of yourself, you can take care of others. It's a sentiment that I think a lot of people need to hear, because you can't really do much for others if you're not doing much for yourself.
Oxygen mask.
Exactly. It's the oxygen mask thing with the planes. And when it comes to the projects, yeah, like I just showed you, it's crazy how back in college, I picked up a camera because I worked in the computer and editing labs at my college. And so I was able to rent out these, at the time, they are news production cameras. So that's what Cracked and Broken I showed you. That's what that was filmed on. So decent quality for the times, but nothing too crazy. And to be able to just pick it up and go out and film and just have fun. we would just go out and shoot and be like, hey, it'd be funny if someone did this, and all right, let's just talk around that and make something happen. I don't think there was never a single script written for any skit. We did over I think it was 60 skits total in 8 episodes. And I would be amazed every time by my friends how much they wanted to come back and keep doing it, and just because we had 8 main cast members, and in our first episode we had, I think it was 2 or 3 people from the college, just students and athletes from the college, who came and joined us and just having fun. But by the last episode, we had over 50 students in the last episode. It became something that was for just us and our close group of friends, but it grew into something that the whole school was aware of by the last episode, which was really cool. Because I had people from all walks of life and all corners of the school be like, hey, you're the cracked and broken guy. And I'm like, yeah. It was either, hey, you're the Canadian or you're the cracked and broken guy. And I remember one student came up to me and said, hey, I've never acted, never done anything, but if you could put me in the show or put me in a skit, that'd mean a lot. And I said, yeah, let's just give you a skit. So I just came up with an idea, and I just gave him a whole skit, and he was hilarious. It's a great skit. And even to this day, he still messages me every now and then, and not just about that, but just he stays in contact, and that kind of makes me feel good on a level that I've touched this individual to the point that he still wants to stay in contact because of the kindness of bringing him into something that was not just about me or just about my friends, but about, yeah, let's see how many people who want to be involved in this, and how that has snowballed into, here we are, decade and a half later, and I'm making a full feature film. I'm 4 days away. I feel like I've talked about this on the podcast to no ends, but it's amazing how I've gone from on the podcast, yeah, I've written this movie, I'm going to make it, to, yeah, we're a few days in, to we are well over halfway. 4 days. Doesn't seem like a lot, but when you're in the indie world and you're working with people's schedules, it is time consuming. And I know people are anxious to get it done, but I also feel so grateful to have the cast and crew I do who are eager to get it done. Not in the sense of let's just get this over with, but everyone says, I want to see this finished.
Yeah,
I want to see where it's going to go. Because every day that we go to set, I make sure to edit the footage so that the cast and crew can see what they've done and what they've accomplished. And I feel like it keeps the investment, because if we could, I keep saying to everyone, this is the movie that will allow us to make future films on a regular schedule, where it's Monday to Friday and everyone's being paid the big bucks. But for this one, because it's all out of pocket, we're doing as much as we can when we can, and we're also we're weekend warriors is the word I like to use, because during the week people need to make their own money to pay for everything, and like I'm doing my best with, like, everyone gets paid on my set. It's not a lot always, but it's what I can afford, and it's for the weekends, and I just want. I'm so stoked to see this thing completed, because everyone in the cast is unbelievably talented. They're so good at what they're doing, and the crew is so fantastic. It's my director of photography, Laurent, and then we've had so many different focus pullers, from Sabrina to Tyler to just who have come into Xavier. They've come in and have all done amazing work. And Natasha on sound, wow! Every time, like, she wasn't there for I think 2 days, and it's a noticeable difference in the sound quality. I still think because I was on sound on the day she wasn't there, because we still we had the days scheduled and the location schedules we had to film, and I still like this. It's just like, yeah, it's still good sound. You can hear what they're saying, but then when you hear how she captures it, just night and day. And I feel the same way with what the image quality would be, because you were saying how the last episode of Cloud Van was your favorite, and in the sense of quality, it probably was the best, like from filming to sound. But I still think what Laurent is capturing on camera for BFMW compared to that Cloud Van episode, it's night and day. It's so cinematic. Like, it's amazing. It's fun to say I want to make a film and have people who are very talented in that department already hop on and not just say, yeah, I'll help you make a movie, but say, I want to make a good movie. And that is what they're doing with me.
So, okay, you've had the desire to be a film producer and actor for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
How long?
Well, actor since I was a kid. I saw Jim Carrey in The Mask and went,
Right.
that's what I was going to do. Yeah. It
And
was
then
just,
when it came to writing or producing?
so that all came about in the college days with Cracked and Broken. And that was, we were watching YouTube, I think it was 2004 that YouTube took off. Like you started to see it kind of became like how it's like now people just say Facebook, right? Like when it's just like back in the day, it was like, oh yeah, you on Facebook type thing. With YouTube, it was like, oh, have you seen that thing on YouTube? It's called. And so like back in 2004, it started to get real big. And by the time I hit college in 2008, yeah, I went to school for video production, but it was more for news broadcasting and stuff of that nature because that's what the school offered. However, I was able to rent out the camera equipment, and they had a Mac lab, or it was nothing but Mac computers, and they had Final Cut, and the iMovie and stuff like that. Started on iMovie, moved to Final Cut once I learned it and was taught by the school. But when I started to learn timelines and being able to like cut videos together, I said to my friends, let's start making skits. Let's just have fun. Because we'd be sitting on the futon in the dorm or in the common room, and we're watching YouTube on the TV, like being back in that day, right? Because you just plug back in that day, though, you're plugging your laptop into the TV to watch it, because like the internet wasn't going through the TV at the time. And the connection was slow, but we'd still wait and watch these videos, me laughing. And we just got like, why can't we do that?
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, me too.
YouTube,
Exactly.
me too.
Me too. And so we tubed it.
Tubular.
Yeah. Oh, tube-tastic. Yours was better. I like tubular better. I'll go with that. Yeah, so we started off making just YouTube videos, and we made maybe like 10 or 11. And that's when I came up with the idea. I said we should just make a skit show for the TV station for the school, because the school had a TV station, and you go to it and it would play people's projects throughout the years, or it was we went to a Catholic college, so they would show services and stuff of that nature on Sundays, football games on Sundays as well, or Saturdays, sorry, and whenever the games were, and sometimes they show reruns, etc., and other sports too, every other sport that was playing there. And I just thought there's so much dead air though between all of those school related programs. We should find something that they can play almost on loop or continuously, something that would be fun. And so I talked to, his name was David Saffin. He was the head of the communication department, or at least the area that I had to discuss for the TV. And I just swung the idea by him, and he said, as long as you keep the humor clean and no swearing, yeah, let's give it a try. So got a bunch of my football teammates together, a bunch of friends who were in the same kind of age category as me, and we started to just go out and make skits. It was my roommate Jeremy Schultz who I really started it with. It was I was roommates with him for 3 of my 4 years in college. Great guy, and yeah, we just thought it'd be fun to do skits. So we started to do the skit show, and I came up with the name Cracked and Broken. I don't know why, I just liked the idea of the title. It just sounds like a fun title for a skit show. And at the time, I was a big fan of Smallville, so I'm glad you said when you watched the intro with like the spinning of the people and stuff, you were like, oh, that's a solid intro. That's me inspired by Smallville's intro.
I see it now.
Yeah.
I didn't make that connection before, but now I see it.
That's Smallville's intro. Yeah, where I wanted something of that nature, and I wanted to highlight the school as we do it, show off the cast. And that just really became my life in my junior year of college. Between football, and I played hockey, I was on the hockey team, and going to class, everyone else on the weekends were partying. I was filming and editing CloudNet or Cracked and Broken. I just was so about it. And I wish I stuck with it into my senior year, but senior year was, we had a whole plan. We actually had more people who were going to become major cast members for season 2. We were gonna make a new intro. We were gonna make new skits. We were gonna like do continuations from previous skits. We even had the last episode of Cracked and Broken ends on a cliffhanger. So we leave it open to be, well, it's a cliffhanger where it's like to be continued, or maybe it will, or maybe it won't. We don't know. Let's see. And it just ends like that. And we didn't continue it because senior year got in the way. People, and like in senior year, you got to focus on your schooling. It's the last year for sports for a lot of people. It's just the end of an era. And even for myself, I'll be open and honest. I foolishly, the summer of my junior year, got really into smoking marijuana and getting high, and that kind of ruined my motivation for a lot of things for what felt like a long time. And in my senior year, outside of sports, when I was playing sports, I stayed clean during the sport year. But then after that, just like me and his friends, we just get high on campus and stuff, and just I know it's not. I know, Mom, I know you're listening. Yeah,
That's what happened.
Yeah, that's what happened.
So that was a notable comparison then as to how much passion and inspiration you had for those projects. But then once THC and marijuana came to the picture, that seemed to be some kind of a dampening, burning out type of a mechanism that took your attention away from producing and into simply just having a good time.
Yeah, it was my first interaction. So my first interaction with any form of substance was actually in my senior year of high school, and it was for the high school hockey team. I made or sorry, that would be my junior year. I apologize. Grade 11. I made the hockey team, and you have a rookie party where they make you do a bunch of dumb stuff around town, and then you go back and you get drunk, and that's just the ritual. It was the first time I ever got drunk. Had a horrible experience. I did not like the feeling of alcohol at all. I was so drunk the next day, had the worst hangover. Thinking to myself, never gonna do this again. I remember my dad taking me because I made a mess at the place. I was a sloppy drunk. I made a mess of the place, so we had to go clean up. But we got there and they'd already cleaned up, so God bless them, the Draggers. They were the ones who hosted. Good on them. Thank you very much, Draggers, for cleaning up my silliness. And then my dad took me for a greasy spoon meal at this diner that he used to go to, and we just chatted, and he's like, yeah, he's like, well, now you know it's like alcohol, it can mess with you. Like, it's like you can have fun, but like when you go too far, it'll wreck you, right? So right then and there, I said to myself, I'm not doing alcohol anymore. I don't like it. I just don't like it. So I stayed away from it through pretty much the rest of all my schooling years, because I never went back to alcohol during college. I can't say I didn't drink, but it was so far and few. I bet on one hand I could count the amount of times I drank while I was in the 4 years of college. But when THC or marijuana entered my life, there was something about it, and maybe it was the timing of it, because I had gone through some lame relationships and maybe even some loneliness from being far at home. Because ironically too, it was after my junior year that I said to my parents, I don't want to do college anymore. I just want to move to LA and I want to be an actor. I've been making this TV show and that's what I want to do with my life. And my parents said, no, stay in college. And I'm glad they said so, because finishing my senior year was great. It was, again, I don't regret a single moment of college. It was so fun and great experience in my life. But I came home that one summer, and when I came home, I missed doing the TV show. I missed my friends. I realized that a lot of my friends at home had moved on to their own lives, and we didn't have anything in common anymore. So I didn't feel like I had anyone to hang out with outside my one buddy, who had just lost his dad. So he was going through his dad, not just his dad, but his brother as well, in the same year. So we just kind of like I was trying to be there for him and he was trying to be there for me, and like obviously in completely different ways, but we found solace in just getting high, listening to music and talking, and just that kind of became a habit and a ritual. And at the time it felt like the right thing to do, and it felt like it was really cathartic and helpful. But then once football ended, so I went just back to the college, and I didn't think about weed or anything. Just I started the year, and the longer I went into my last year of football, the more I realized, one, it's not really for me anymore. Two, I'm not as good as I thought I was. And three, I don't think I'm ever going to play again. I actually got offers to go play, or not play, sorry, but go to combines for the CFL. So that was cool. I never ended up going.
Combines. So like training?
It's it's they know that you've been playing through the college level, so they're offering you to come try out for the team. So yeah, so I could go try out for the team, but more so in this, it's like the tryout before the tryout.
Okay.
So you get to go and like show what you can do, show your skills. And there was a part of me that really wanted to do it, but there was this big. There was a part of me that there was a part of me that wanted to do it, and the other part of me that said, it's going to be more of this, more of what college football was, which was like when I played in my young years. The reason I was able to go to college is because I was good. I was good in Canada. I was good for the league I was in. I was an MVP of the league. I set records. I was the top dog. I was captain of the team. I felt real good in football. Once I got to the States, these guys have been playing football since they were 6 years old. I started when I was 11. They've been in the gym since they were 10 years old. I didn't get to the gym until college.
Wow.
I'm playing against some guys who were already in their mid-20s. I was 17 to 21 when I wasn't even 21 when I graduated, right? I was 17 to 20 while I was in college. So it was a mix of a bunch of different things and also motivation. Looking back, I could easily say I always played football because I had fun with it. When it got to college, it became a religion. It was a job. It was 5 days a week for practice, 3 days a week for working out, and 5 days a week for doing playbook study. And then you play on the weekends. You have 1 day off Sunday, but they still expect you to do some training on your own. When it became a job when it became the job, I slowly lost interest over the 4 years. And also, it doesn't help when you're in the practices and you help. Like I adored everyone I played with and the coaches. I had a great time, but it was just not for me anymore. I was the practice squad all the way through college. I played, I think, 3 downs in 4 years, so not like nothing.
So you had less of a hopeful anticipation as to what football could bring you in the future from that experience. But when you look back into producing and film, you still, in that moment, would have seen the potential of some hopeful inspirations as to what that might be able to offer in the future.
Yeah.
So this is interesting to me because I see everything as a mechanism as to how we're led into our destinies. And we're given certain experiences that are going to have very calculatable results that will inevitably lead us to a conclusion.
Yes.
That then causes us to make the decision to go one way or the other, but ends up only being one way.
Yeah.
And it really depends on how much of a desire that we have. That's like our energetic charge. And then being able to catch a vision, and that would be the structured information that we're fed, that then gives us a projection as to what the future could hold in that area. And when that harmonizes with the desire, for example, the desire for you to be a producer or an actor in film, it's there, it's burning, it's like a fire. And then when you catch the ability to actually make something that's real, like on YouTube, all of a sudden it becomes feasible. And now when you see the avenue there, it's like, boom, that fire is now fuel to get you to that destination. And you can't help yourself because you see it and you believe it's possible. So you're going to go that direction.
Yeah.
And so it's like this constant set of like these little roads basically that we're energetically tethered to. And we're like a little tractor beam that is catching a vision and then moving towards it. And it's calculatable in that way. And then every experience along the path is used for good in the sense of guiding us towards shaping our character or attitude that ultimately allows us to receive our ideal God-given destiny. And then that has purpose in it too as to how it's going to affect the rest of mankind. So what I'm interested in personally when it comes to your production and what your future video production endeavors are going to be is not only is it going to make you a better man by enriching your wisdom, your understanding, your identity as to like who you are as a man, but also you're probably going to help bring clarity to the masses in some sense of what we're doing here, who we are, and what actually matters. How that translates, I don't know, but there's going to be incredible value there because that's where I see the value of storytelling. We understand who we are by sharing our stories. It becomes relatable.
Yeah.
We've been doing it since.
Beginning of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love connecting the dots because I can see the way that you talk and like the different little mechanisms as to how you would have this charge, and then all of a sudden this becomes possible through this avenue. And now you're at the place where you've almost completed the movie that you feel is going to be able to unlock all kinds of avenues, where your production will be next level yet again, thus being able to impact that much more people and tell more coherently the vision that you get inspired with.
I feel it's very timely for production as well, because we're in a space when the major studios are not spending money because they just got through those big strikes with the actors and the writers, and they're doing nothing but remakes and rehashes and sequels because that's what they know. Uninspired.
Mm.
This is the perfect timing for independent filmmakers.
Mm.
And if it wasn't for the hiccups mentioned before of weather and all the others, the movie would be done already. That being said, every time we've gone to set, the day that we go has given us something that if we had filmed it all sequentially, I don't think we would have had.
Hmm.
Like that last scene I showed you with the cabin. Yeah, that cabin would still be cool. The interior shot would still be the same. It'd still be an awesome set to have. But because we had 1 week of snow of the whole year, because we're not going to get snow again, we had that 1 week of snow, just enough to blanket the ground and the cabin. To have that type of shot in the movie, where a lot of times we've been on enough Hallmarks, they spray the foam, they lay the white tarping down to make it look like it's snow. We just had real snow, and you could see their breath. And it's for a scene that's supposed to be conspiratorial and the big reveal. So for it to have this cold atmosphere, it was destined to happen on that day. It was made to happen when it was. I truly and firmly believe that in my heart. And this movie will finish. I just can't say when.
But you look so excited. Like the idea about finishing it just lights you up.
I'm excited to see it finished. I'm excited just for the next days. I'm stoked to see it finished. I'm excited for the next days because every day on set has been fun. It's the classic enjoy the journey. I'm enjoying the journey. Even the frustrations that have come along with it, I'm enjoying it. And there have been a lot of frustrations. I've worn a lot of hats with this production, as I do on most of my productions. It'll be interesting to see moving forward, because I truly believe this is the film that's going to be where people with money will say, this is what he did on his own. Let's see what he does with a couple mil. I truly do believe that, because we are capturing something fantastic for a personal budget. Yeah, feels really good. And the journey from the college days to being back on the farm for a year and making Egghead, just a short surreal film off of my iPhone. First time I tried a bunch of different film techniques, and then not knowing what to do. Ironically, doing construction at the time as well, not knowing what to do with my life, I just made this little short film that I'm proud of, and then I'm thinking, where do I go from here? And then someone from high school calls and says, hey, I moved to Vancouver and the film industry is booming out here. You should come out here. And I just think, yeah, why not? So I moved out to Vancouver. And for the next few years, I make little videos on YouTube, little goofy ones with some friends, but nothing big. And then I decide, you know what? I'm going to write a TV pilot. I make the first Cloud Van episode. From there,
I loved it.
It was a fun episode.
Yeah.
And from there, we decide, you know what? Let's keep it moving. We make the web series. 33 episodes later, I make some short films. They do well at film festivals. Now I feel like I have a little bit of accolade, and I don't, not that I necessarily, you don't need it, but it feels good enough to where I go, you know, I keep writing these short films. I've written these little skits from a web series. Why not? Why not write a full movie? It took me 3 years to write this movie that we're doing. And now to see it coming to life over the course of the last, started in October, here we are in February, so the last 5 months. And I know we're going to be going well into March to get the last few days. It'll probably take. I'm just gonna, I'm gonna ballpark it and give myself extra because you might as well. 7 months to film. 7 months to film a movie that took me 3 years to write. That has taken me, I'd say, a solid 2 years to raise funding to produce. And yeah, just we're in the thick of it right now. But every piece of footage that comes out on the day, there's so much stress, and because I'm directing, plus this man of all hats running around doing stuff. Sometimes I don't always say, like, I see a lot of the gold as when I'm watching the footage on the day, but sometimes I miss things. But then I always think this, because the cabin day is a good example. I'm going to tell you a little bit of a fun story. When I'm on set, I'm directing, but I always have the mind of an editor, because I learned to edit through college and kept editing through all, as you know. And so I see the mistakes happening as a director, and this like boiling like anger kind of is like, oh, why isn't it going right? But then the editor in my mind is going like, hey, we can use that. And so I always say to everyone at the end of the day, it's just like, because like sometimes like Alistair, he'll come up to me and say like, what are your thoughts? He's like, he always says, what are your concerns? Like he sees I'm getting a little agitated or something. He's like, hey, what's your concerns? Like vent, like use me as your lunch mate. And I'm like, and I always say to him, I was like, ask me again after I edit it.
Mm.
Yeah, because then I'll edit it,
Mm.
and any issue I had on the day is gone. Just because it's amazing what you can do. That's the beauty of film, is you don't see what it took to get what you're watching. You really don't. The amount of things that are happening behind the scenes while something is being created is outstanding. Because one of the things that you see everyone's breath. I tried so hard to get people warm on set. I bought this huge industrial heater for the day. It's a garage heater, so it's supposed to heat. I was like, oh, this cabin's gonna be toasty. No worries at all. It had an industrial size plug. I did not look at the plug, and so I have this giant heater that we can't use. So everyone's sitting in their cars waiting to be called back to set. The crew is everyone's just acting like a gym. And like anyone who needs to warm up or leave at any time, please just go through it, just warm up. And everyone's just like, no, we're fine. Because they're all moving around. Cast is a little bit more, they have their downtime between setups so they can get cold a lot faster. But then when we start moving and we're filming, I see the cast between takes going, oh, action. And just drop into it. That's the one thing I will always give such credit, not only to my actors on the set, but just actors in general. I feel like a lot of times they kind of get a bit of a bad rap of it's like, oh, prissy little actor and stuff like that. It's amazing what some actors do.
Oh yes.
Like during any intense situation, whether it's cold or hot, whatever they're being asked to do, they may, in between takes, they may have such disdain or look of like complaint, but then once it's like action, that snap into that's a talent in itself. To be able to just snap into action and do what you are needed to do.
And the moment calls for.
Yeah, the moment calls for.
No double-mindedness.
Yeah.
Boom.
There it is. And if that isn't a beautiful way to look at life, you're gonna face so many challenges, but when the time calls for it, when you need to snap to action, no hesitation. No hesitation, no surrender.
So that reminds me of a time when, I wasn't there, but Michelle shared this story where she was in the operating room and there was 12 very highly qualified medical professionals there. She's a nurse, an RT at the time.
Okay.
And they're there for a very special delivery of a baby. Special in the sense that there's a problem where the baby is stuck.
Oh, okay.
And so it's getting to the point where it's critical, right? And so everyone is in a particular position surrounding the entire medical bed. And what they need to do is they need to cut the flap in between the anus and the vagina so that there's more of an opening for the baby to come out. They cut it too large. And like a potato gun, the baby shot out. And Michelle had an instant automated reaction where it feels like something just came over her. She didn't even think about it, but she instantly dove towards the edge of the table where the baby was shooting out and sliding off the table. And she caught the baby in a perfect football catch like this. She doesn't even play football, but it was the perfect ESPN like turning point catch kind of a thing.
Right.
And no one else even flinched.
Wow.
To make any kind of a maneuver, which is even more perfect, because had everyone done the same thing, you just hit each other.
Yeah.
But the fact that she was the only one that felt that she was within range to make it happen, and only one to have the inspiration, the compulsion to actually get called to action for what the moment was calling for. No double-mindedness, no hesitation, boom, instant, and then made the miraculous catch.
Yeah.
Saved the baby because of it. And it's all about being able to recognize on a subconscious level what the moment is calling for and not question it. Have an instant automated like response where you say yes. No hesitation. Boom. And that's what I feel like some of the most notable moments in my life are like. Where for me, I don't feel like necessarily I get taken over by an autopilot type of a moment. For me, I catch a vision, half a second of what the moment is calling for. And then I have half a second to say yes or no. But I always say yes without any questioning when I'm in those states. And that state is usually a flow state where time is slowed down and everything is just amplified sense-wise. I'm just so dialed into the moment. But nonetheless, it's about reading what the moment is calling for and saying yes. No hesitation.
Yes. Saying yes to the moment will always bring such fruit. Because if you don't say yes to the moment, and again, saying yes to a moment is also understanding when you have denied a moment. But it's the difference between accepting a moment that feels there for you and denying the moment that you have an egotistical urge for, but you know is bad for you, and so you deny it, even though you're like, that could be a momentary lapse of fun, but who knows where that will lead to. And if that isn't just if that isn't just life, navigating those waters, but then those moments, like it's like for her, you make such a good point. If everyone dove at the same time, what type of calamity that could have caused. To be called upon and not only act, but if you didn't act, well, it's just sad to think about.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful story to hear, in the sense of her being the only one to act, because the alternatives are, you just know it's devastation. Without that action, without her and her singular action, devastation.
I like it too because it increases the odds of it being random. As in, like, it can't be random.
Yes.
The fact that she had to be perfectly placed at the right time, be perfectly just overtaken in a way where she feels like it's autopilot, but also the other people not inspired to move.
Yeah.
It shows that it's not just her story, but everyone else also has a story, and they're all working together as one unit without even realizing it. That it's all one story.
Beautiful.
Perfect integration.
It is.
Optimization.
Made for life.
Syndication.
Syndication.
And the other thing that I like about that is what you were talking about before, where you get the footage and you're thinking you might not have what you were initially looking for, but you know that when you review that footage, you might find a hidden gem that you didn't realize was there. And then all of a sudden everything becomes redeemed in a way that's even better than you were thinking before. And it's kind of like the idea of all things being used for good, where we might think that something seems like it's a momentary detriment.
Yeah.
But 1 or 2 weeks down the road, you look back on, it's like, wow, that actually had to happen that way in order for this better circumstance to actually reveal itself. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been a thing.
Yeah. Well, I'll give an example too that you got to see today. You know the footage where he comes out with the fur and he's in like this little hut, like a little man-made hut. In the script, I have it written that he's in a cave, and so they go into this dark cave, and like he's sitting on a throne, and everything else is the same, but he's on a throne. So it just has more of a theatrical king-like feel. But in the concepts of what we have filmed and within the movie, isn't it just so much goofier funny that he's in that and somehow in charge? Like, it just adds more of a, like, what? It just adds to it where, and this whole movie has been that. I have a vision in my head. What's being put to footage isn't precisely what I've seen in my head, and I'm happy about that because it's a collaboration. Because the amount of times that I have taken the what's the word I'm looking for? The suggestion of someone else, because they think they might have, and they always, like, that was coming up with me, like, I must have one dose, but what if you did this? And I'm like, yes, let's give that a try. Let's see if it works. And 9 times out of 10, it always works.
Nice.
And it just is one where, if you stuck with my idea, it might have not been the same. Like, one of the things is actually casting. The guy who plays Ian, our cartoony, over the top guy, no one else can play him. He has owned that role. It is so amazing what he has done with the script and with the scenery and with the rest of the cast. I had in my head, I always, like, even as I was writing it, I had someone else for the role. The guy who plays Paul in Cloud Van. I always saw him as Stoop, right? I always saw him as Ian. And I've discussed it with some of my cast since Richard has taken it on. And one, it's no comparison. And this is not a slight at Stu at all. He's an amazing actor, and
Agreed.
like, he's the best actor I know. He is so solid. But he would have played the role dark, and not to his detriment. It would have been to also what I kind of saw. But one thing Richard has seen in this character is the comedy. And my goodness, it needs the comedy.
My goodness.
My word, it needs it. Otherwise, it would be too dark the whole way through.
Yeah, gotta have that.
And you need that. You need that relief of up and down. And so, where, and it's not the fact that he couldn't play it comedically. It's just he also has such a serious look to him and tone, right?
Yeah.
It would have been. I can see it already where it would have been.
Cooper.
Bradley Cooper. Yeah. It would have been. Talking about dark things and expressing it like it's dark things. Whereas how Richard's playing it is it's discussing dark matters, but he's saying it in such a way where I don't think I believe this guy, and it makes it comedical because you're it's like, why are you trying to convince us of this obvious lie?
Yeah.
Even when it doesn't become a lie, sorry to interrupt, but even when it's not a lie, it still is like, wait, you were serious?
Yeah. And makes it believable.
Yes.
Even though it's so outlandish, and people would see it as overacted. But that's intentional in this scenario because he is acting.
Yeah.
He's an actor that's acting to try and spoof the other people and trying to trick them.
Exactly.
So it's perfect.
Yeah.
Yet you still get the comedic element to it.
Yeah, and the serious as well. Like, when he needs to be serious in his moments, he grounds into he grounds into the darkness that would have been too overbearing played by a different actor. He can still hit those notes, but he hits them appropriately. Instead of that being his full personality, it's like that is who he is, but he's trying to hide that's who he is so well.
I feel like we should give him this particular podcast and then have this as the narration on his reel.
Oh, we should, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, this is nothing but props to Richard Thompson. He is absolutely hilarious and just a brilliant actor. Because a lot of the things he's done within the movie, there's the odd time where I'll say, hey, say the line this way because I needed to. Because he may have missed a beat or a note of a joke. But everything he's doing with this role is he has made it his own. He's going above and beyond even what I thought the character was going to be, which makes it so much funner. And that I can say that about everyone too. And like, it's not because I don't want to just say it because like everyone who has been cast from all the main characters, the main 5. Ooh, wow, are they good? I'm so excited. Like I'm just gonna go off on all of them. I'm gonna come on them all right now.
Do
I'm
it.
gonna tell you why. Because Alistair Weir,
Yeah, big
I
fan.
always give him the most ridiculous, outlandish roles.
Mm.
He's always a goofball, and he does it so well. He plays the good, crazy, comedic guy.
Mhm.
I said to him, I don't want that this role. I want you to do something different. I want you to be grounded, and you're the guy who actually, for the most part, sees through the BS.
Mhm.
Like you question it. You go along with it because you see your friends going along, and you're there to protect, especially Josh's character, your friend. But I want you to be questioning it the whole time, and he is knocking it out of the park.
Mhm.
He is so grounded in this role, and I'm so proud of him because I always like he's a great actor. I always knew he was, but I always wanted like the more. It's funny when it comes to Claude Van, I'm always like go nuts, go crazy, do your thing. With even within things get better though. When we were when he was on the roof, I was like, yeah, go nuts, go crazy, have fun. But when we were in the scene in the park, I was like, be serious here,
Mhm.
be sentimental. I want you to actually like ground. That was the moment I saw. I was like, he is so much more.
Yeah.
He is so good. He grounded and like had such a serious conversation in such a comedic moment
Yeah.
with Zach.
Oh yeah.
It really hit.
He has surprised me.
Yeah.
Because I know him.
Yeah, his
We've
growth is
had a
amazing.
lot of conversations. So when you have a lot of conversations with someone, then you see them act.
Mhm.
Since you know them, it doesn't really translate sometimes. And so at first, when I saw his acting, it was like, yeah, it's all right. It's decent. It's a little over the top. I mean, no, I don't quite believe it. But now when I see it, I'm like, wow.
It makes it so like it makes Stan the Dealer so much more impactful, knowing that
He's one of my
he can
favorites.
ground. Yeah,
Like,
he's so
legit
good.
favorite actors.
That makes me so proud of him. I'm so happy for him. And Josh, there's never been a time that Josh is.
I've always
just
been a fan.
impressed. He's just never not impressed me. He is such a good actor, and with this role that he's been given here, he's become a fan favorite. So many people. One of my favorites was I was watching with the lead actor Sleeps. I was watching the footage of the cabin scene with him, and the amount of times, because I was watching with him over the phone, so we're just watching the footage together over the phone, and I just hear him go, Josh. And that makes me so happy because I gave Josh a very goofy. I usually give Josh more of he's the grounded character in the goofy world.
Hmm.
I always give him a ground, whereas this one I kind of flipped it on him. I was like, all right, I'm gonna give you the goofy guy, and he's hilarious.
Yeah,
He's
he did
so
make
funny.
that. He did make that flip.
Yeah.
Because yeah, you're right. He's very much usually like, the one who kind of brings normality
Yeah,
to it. Like if there's outrageous characters, he's one like, okay, guys, like
exactly. Yeah, he's the one where the joke's either going over his head or he doesn't want any part of the nonsense.
Mhm.
Whereas with this one, he's the guy who falls for it,
Yeah.
and he is falling for it in every way more than I could have asked him to do it.
I think he'd make a great rom-com.
Yes, he would.
I'd like to see him in a rom-com.
Yeah, he
He'd
would
be a
do great.
heartthrob.
No, he would be excellent in any Hallmark movie.
Mhm.
He would just do so
Agreed.
well in that. But yeah, Josh is he's again though he's one of the most solid actors I know. But his performance in this is just made me so proud of him. Like he always does, but he always makes me proud. But just this one, because he makes me laugh.
Mm.
He's making me laugh, and it's funny because it's not that like me and him laugh all the time and just our everyday conversations. But in everything I've written for him, I've never written necessarily a jokey guy. A little bit with grilled chicken, and like again, but like he's still serious within the world.
Mhm.
And he more is a punching bag serious character, even when he's jokey in grilled chicken, which was supposed to be me originally. I was gonna play that character, and then I decided about 2 months before production, I just wanted to focus on directing. It was too much. I was like, I'll just make myself one of the other side characters at the end of the movie, just because I want to be in it. And I was like, Josh, I want you to take the role, and he's like, absolutely. And again, best decision I ever made because again, he did better than what I would have. I already know that. But yeah, he just did so well. And then Sleeps. He is
Hollywood material.
yes, he is A-lister. He's there's a reason he's number one, and because his presence, he doesn't have to be talking, and it's just his presence is felt.
His opening was my favorite.
Oh, it's beautiful,
I love his
right?
opening.
It makes you love him right off the bat.
Right off the bat.
Richard said this when we came back from the break. or we're all watching the footage, and everyone's watching and smiling. Richard goes, he's like, "Sleeps, you're adorable."
Yeah, his vibe output is like captivating.
It is. It makes you really want to root for him the whole way,
Mhm.
and it never lets up. From the beginning to we haven't filmed the end yet, but I know it will be the case. Oh, he is absolutely 100% the number one and forward reason. Like on the call sheet, and they're all main characters, but we follow Sleeps. He's the membrane fabric you follow through the story.
Mhm.
And lastly, on to Maya, who has joined us onto this production.
Most believable.
She has seamlessly integrated with us.
Yeah. I find her performances the easiest to be like, wow, this is a real moment.
Yeah. Oh, she's so sentimental. Everything she has done, and I've asked her to do things just on the day. Like it was, I forget when it was. I think it was at the table read, but or maybe it was table read, or either way. She asked, because we're gonna be in a bar, can I do karaoke? Because I told everyone I want to do a montage, and she's like, can I do karaoke in the bar? And I said, yes, absolutely. And that's when I decided, I have you talk about your dad. I have this song, Things Get Better. Let's integrate that and make it into what it would be. And I asked you for the ukulele instrumental for it, but her just singing it without anything feels so heartfelt and somber.
I like it.
And it transitions into what's about to happen so seamlessly.
Mhm.
Yeah. No, she has been nothing but a blessing when it comes to the production. She is also just a wonderful individual. She is so well spoken, and just like all of us together, it's so great. What an amazing cast and crew. And I can't stress enough, Laurent, he is the DP, he's so talented. Natasha on sound and everybody. It's just everybody.
Synergistic.
It really is. Casey did a great job making the prosthetics, and there's our special effects makeup artist named Julia Ho. Came across her just looking for a makeup artist. I was like, I need a makeup artist to put Bigfoot together. Got a lot of people hopping in, but we went with Julia, and she is just so good at what she does. She is the one who did the makeup on Gentry. We didn't talk about Gentry. Holy cow! Him as Bigfoot. How did he emote so well through that makeup?
Yeah.
He's just believable underneath the makeup.
Yeah.
Like, what a fun. Oh man, I can't wait to get him back on camera. He has 2 more days in costume. I can't wait to get him back in, because he knocked out the park in those scenes he did. And also I got Mike Tillis. Have you ever met Mike Tillis? Okay, he's a good buddy of Alistair's, and he's done film and stuff, but he's an electrician now, doing very well. Doing very well for himself. Just got married, great guy. Him and Brandon, who I met alongside Maya on the short film that I did earlier last year. They've been the agents and the Yetis and stuff with me. And want to talk about actors who are team players who are just there to have fun? Yes, those are the guys you want. They're so good. They're so just passionate and energetic and happy to be there. And they make characters that, if you were on like background on the major Hollywood sets type thing, sometimes you get to play some pretty cool characters, you get to dress up and everything. But then when they say action, you still kind of just, you do your bare minimum, even though you're in these cool costumes. These are the guys who your face isn't seen because you're under heavy makeup or you're under a mask, but you're still bringing life to a character. They're making the motions and the movements where they actually are fleshed out like pieces of the story. And you couldn't ask for better people to be a part of it. Andrew is the angry driver, just so funny. His little part in it. I got so many other people coming to cameo. Travis Turner being the guy to pick up Sleeps at the airport.
That's famous.
Yeah. Oh, Travis Turner, Lil T. He is famous. He was big on, I want to say it's Nickelodeon or YTV, one of the kids stations. He was on a show for I believe 5 years, if maybe even more. Just like no, he was the lead, big star. And he's in the new Final Destination movie coming out. Yeah. No, and just what a solid guy. Such a great guy. He was in Cloud Van as well, if you recall. He was the Wigmaster.
Little T, I do remember.
Yes. Yeah. Oh. I'm having such a blast making this.
I can tell.
I have a blast making all this stuff.
Passion just oozing out of your face.
Oh, just thinking back to everything that I've ever produced is just so fun.
Mm.
It's what I made to do. I made to create, and as long as I entertain, that's the big one. At the end of the day, I know I'm making a very ridiculous movie right now, but I feel like I'm supposed to, because what I'm doing is making something that you're supposed to just be entertained.
Mm.
I'm not trying to preach to you.
Mm.
I'm not trying to tell you my agenda or my politics or my beliefs in anything. I'm just wanting you to watch this from start to finish, see the aspects of daily life, the aspects of creativity, the aspects of what is going on, and at the end of it go, that was fun. That was a good time. Like it's like, oh, I turned my brain off for 2 hours because this movie allowed me to do it. It's not, there's no part of the movie where you're going, oh, that's about that, or oh, they're trying to reference this. I want nothing to do with that in this movie. And there are moments where the actors will improv, and I'll have to say them. None of that in this. It's funny, like there's certain jokes that have been said, like usually after my version, after like they're done the script, and then the camera's still rolling to allow a little bit of improv and stuff. Sometimes I let them do it wherever they say, no matter what they say. I have it on camera, but I'm never gonna use some of it because it's funny. The last day we were on set, some jokes were made, and I went, "This isn't Cloud Van, guys," and they laugh. And then the very next take, they do something that's within the world, and I go, "Now I can use that." Right? It's just fun. It's fun. I want people to walk away from this saying they had fun. And I really think they will. And also, and you know what? Some of them will walk away going, what was that? That was disturbed. But again, I think it also will have rewatch value, because one thing the footage that you've seen so far too, it's so funny how there's so many almost short stories happening where it's the same characters, but it's like, how does this all link? Once those scenes are filled in, the amount of in-jokes and the amount of interpersonal connections of the people and the characters, it's a fun one. It's a fun one. I'm very proud of it up to this point, and I'm sure I'll be proud of it when it's fully done. But thanks for letting me just kind of gush about everything I'm doing with that film.
It's destiny.
I can't describe again, just the cast and crew. So blessed. God brought us all together somehow. Because he knew that it's like, if this movie is to work, these are the people that had to do it. It feels that way.
Yeah, it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
All things brought together.
Yes, sir. KG3. It's
KG3.
me. LA5.
It is I.
What do you say we call there?
Yep.
Right on.
It's a thing of beauty.
LA5, my good man. Always a pleasure.
Always.
There's season 1.
Boom.
Glorious Proceedings, 15 episodes. There it is. Let's cheers to that. Right on, man.